Shima, who is an internationally acclaimed coach, leadership coach. Before Gayatri is introduced, I would like to introduce our council member, Abhirami Vivek, who is also the Vice President of Wiki TN Entrepreneurship. She will be moderating this session. Abhirami is a postgraduate in management, marketing and HR, and an MSc in psychology. She is the mother of 2 angels. She has over a decade of experience in corporate world. Abhirami is also a child psychologist. And in 2009, she launched her preschool and became the first franchise for EduComp Solutions in Chennai. In 2017, Abhirami founded Magnet Minds Preschool and Daycare, the first preschool to effectively explore Forbes methodology using the Forbes gifts. Magnet Minds Preschool has been awarded as the best and top preschool by Education World through survey commissioned by C4 Survey for 10 consecutive years. So we are very happy to have you with us, Abhirami, and please take over from here.
Good evening to everyone. First of all, thank you, Gayatri, for accepting the invite and coming over and talking. And before I introduce Gayatri, I would like to share when she came as a professor for us in ISB, we all felt the aura is very good and the energy, what she transformed and what she spoke about networking was something very great. So the moment I thought that we should bring her as a speaker for our council, and that is how, I connected with her on this. Thank you so much, Gayatri, for accepting that. Gayatri has been working in coaching and leadership development for over 2 decades and is committed to enabling leaders challenge and shift their mindset. She has done her advanced coaching certification level 2 from Columbia University, New York. Gayatri has lived and worked in India, China, and in the USA. She believes that it is this exposure and understanding that has given her ability to identify the underlying motivations, strengths, and needs of an individual, thus enhancing her ability to engage with them in a meaningful and effective manner. In her capacity as a coach, Gayatri has worked with senior leaders with global responsibilities in organizations with different ownership patterns and cultures. That is multinational corporations, family-run business, and public sector enterprises. Gayatri is the founder of a boutique coaching and leadership development called Tim Shell. Prior to this, she was a part of the leadership team at Coach in a Box. Though a highly regarded specialist in executive coaching, she has led large change and leadership programs across APAC. Her work ranges from developing individuals and teams to cohorts of leaders and whole organizations. Thank you, Gayatri, for accepting, and you can start unlocking the network with all of us.
Thank you so much, Abhirami, and what a joy and pleasure to be here. As Abhirami said, our paths really crossed in the work that we are doing with women entrepreneurs. And when Abhirami reached out to me, I said, any opportunity to speak to a group of women who are genuinely powerhouses is something I'd love to be a part of, because I do believe it is the age of women entrepreneurs for 2 reasons. One is for what you do, and the second is really about how you do it. Right? I think women are just so amazing in terms of bringing head and heart together in everything that they do. So thank you for having me. As Abhirami said, we're really going to kind of delve into the space of networking, which is to say, how can we unlock our networks? Because I do believe as women, we are naturals when it comes to building our network. However, I also in my experience have seen that women are not as effective users of their networks as they could be. So I wanted to start with a short video. So just take a look at it. Some of you might have actually seen it because it's an advertisement, but I thought it would just kind of help us connect to the context. Yeah, so just give me, Abhirami, you need to just enable my sharing.
Yeah. Done.
Perfect.
Started शर्मा की दुल्हन जो ब्याह के आई, संग टू सीटर सोफा ले आई। पड़ गो नाम शर्मा इनका सोफा, हाय रे शर्मा इनका सोफा। शर्माइन बहन का ब्याह कराइन, सोफा पे नवा कपड़ा चढ़ाइन। बन गो वो मिसराइन का सोफा, हाय रे मिसराइन का सोफा। मिसराइन का लड़का कलेक्टर बनेलू, सोफा पे रख जीन चमड़ा चढ़ेलू। बन गो कलेक्टराइन का सोफा, हाय रे कलेक्टराइन का सोफा। कलेक्टर की बिटिया लव मैरिज करेली, सोफा पे बंगाली किरमिट चढ़ेली। बन गो वो बंगालन का सोफा, हाय रे बंगालन का सोफा। 12 घरों का ब्याह निपटाओ, सोफा 60 का होने को आओ। देखी गंगा पार की शादी, देखी देश के बाहर की शादी। अब कोई ब्याह कराए या ना कराए, हाय पर सोफा बनाए तो दिल से बनाए।
So what did you see in this? What kind of stood out for you? Anyone?
The participants can unmute and then talk. And please keep your videos on.
Yes, it would be so good to see you.
Yeah.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, that one?
Ah, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Absolutely. That could be, one interpretation of that. And if you kind of pull that into, the work context and into the context of leadership, what would that mean? So what did you see in that advertisement or in that clip? So that's...
Yeah, Bhuvna here.
Go ahead, Bhuvna.
Man seems to be like holding a responsible position, and the woman was like, doing the stereotypical activity.
So men were responsible, women doing stereotypical activities. And did you notice how that was also changing, Bhuvna?
Yeah.
Right? It was changing through the ages. When it came to, says, where's that young couple sitting on the sofa, the relationship is becoming more equal out there.
Yeah.
Yeah? Kalyani, would you like to add anything?
No, pretty much whatever is discussed. I just went ahead and saw is generations have changed.
Yes.
But the responsibility of women has been consistently increasing or has been the same.
Generations have changed. And I'd like to just bring another perspective in terms of when I was watching the video, what kind of struck me is that think of the sofa, the context has kept changing and the sofa has continued to repurpose itself. And if you think of women, that's exactly what we are able to do. We are so good at repurposing ourselves. As generations have changed, we've repurposed our roles at home, we've repurposed our roles at the workplace, we repurpose our roles in public spaces. So I just wanted to kind of land the point saying that as women, we really do have the capability and the capacity to change according to the times, right? And as I'd also mentioned, women are natural builders of networks. If you think of it, you would have a very wide network, right? However, women don't really make very good use of their networks. There's something that holds us back, right? There is some self-talk and some chatter that comes in the way of really making use of our network. So what I thought might be useful for us to talk about today, and as Abhirami said, this is a dialogue. Of course, there is a bit of a structure, but I'd love for this to be about you, so that you are able to connect with how you can really unlock your network. This is not a theoretical kind of construct. This is really about you. So I thought what we would, quickly cover in our short time together is, one, really understand why is networking important. I think it's spoken about a lot, but let's really focus in to say, at the workplace, why is networking important? Second is really to understand what is the kind of mindset that enables us to unlock our network. And as we explore that, also to identify what prevents us from unlocking our network. Yeah. And then finally, to get a little intentional to see how we can build our own network, who's there in our network and who we need to add into our network. And I think what's happened over the last couple of years is that, networks have become widespread. So you have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, you have Instagrams, you have lots of followers, but the network is opaque to us, right? Because we are not really connecting and exchanging energy with that network. And therefore it can seem really lonely. Your network is only active if you're connecting with it. So network is really about connection. So another question for the group: when you hear the word network or networking, what comes to mind? Manju, what does networking mean to you?
Connecting with people, knowing their background, understanding what they are doing, trying to relate, even if there is a small I can say a string of commonality between us, connect with that.
Yeah, connecting with people. It's looking at commonality. I see some things in the chat also. So Tripti saying connecting with right-minded people. So Tripti, tell us about right-minded people.
So that is a wavelength usually we build up. We gel with the people with the correct wavelength, who matches our wavelength.
So networking is about connecting with like-minded people, whose mindset kind of is similar to ours.
Yes,
absolutely. Mindset.
Yeah, can I add something to this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually, I was quite intrigued by a quote which I attended a session by Jo Miller. She's a propagator of women leadership. So it's like, it does not matter who you know. It does not matter what you know. Matters, who knows what you know. So this is like, a very deeper thing into the networking, aspect that I really liked and I appreciated. And that's why when I started talking, I introduced myself, because without knowing, many a times I've seen, I drive a car, but sometimes after knowing somebody in my network for 2-3 years, they would say, are you driving a two-wheeler? So it's like, it doesn't like, a lot of people don't understand you. I'm just giving an example.
Yes.
So it'll be appreciated, if you can convey, and if other person can. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality and the amount of understanding they have that matters, I think.
So I'm just going to pause you there, Bhuvna, because you bring forward a very important point.
And if you could provide us some tools which can, make us more effective in this, I will be really happy.
Absolutely. That's the intention.
I would like to have something on this aspect.
Absolutely.
Because I had a lot of network, but this really was really helpful. And, I tried to change my own, way of communication, and it really made a, deeper, I could make deeper connections. So.
Absolutely. So it's important for the network to be a useful network, for people in the network to know you. It cannot be an opaque network like we have on Facebook and LinkedIn, because you're not able to get any value from that network then. So as Bhuvna said, it's important for people in your network to actually know you. So if you just look at, one definition of networking is the act of creating connections. It's the action or process of interacting with others. So the engagement is very, very important. To exchange information. It's just what Bhuvna said, right? I need to know you, you need to know me, and develop both professional or social contacts. So very, very simply, that's really what networking is. Networking is about connection. It is about exchanging of information. It's about exchange of energy. So I would be really curious to know from you, what do you really use your network for? What do you use your network for? So people who are there in your network, what do you use them for? Anyone? Go ahead, Pavitra.
Support infrastructure, fun, and
Fun.
support structure,
Okay.
and use it as a development tool. I exchange knowledge, share ideas, and
Okay.
Build emotional strength, emotional bond.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you, Bhuvna.
Sure.
Pavitra, you were sharing something, were you?
Viewpoint in the chat.
Go ahead, Prasanna. Prasanna, go ahead.
Sapita, your question was not audible.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
was only mentioning, my name has come out as Prasanna, is it? Okay. It is
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it is my official ID, actually. It's in the name of my colleague, junior colleague. Sorry. I was mentioning that reaching out to people of, reaching out to like-minded people with the same wavelength.
Correct.
To basically, to add value to our purpose or for a common purpose. So it is in terms of, actually reaching out and, joining hands for a particular cause, and then it grows. That contact grows, and you actually get into a more, purposeful relationship also. And that's how I have seen my network. So, and you very rightly said, it cannot be opaque. So the people whom you're connected with, who are not actually connected with you on your particular purpose, is not necessarily a network point or a data point.
So Savita, you're saying because there is no exchange of energy that's taking place there, right? There's no exchange of interest. There's no exchange of ideas that are taking place. So it cannot really yield any value either to that individual or to you. So networks are extremely, extremely valuable and useful. And as I kind of walk you through, some of the uses of a network, just think of what is it that you are currently using your network for, and what are some areas where you feel, actually I do have people that I can reach out for, say, understanding new trends, but I'm not doing it. So these are some typical areas that we can actually draw into our network because they would be able to provide us value. So the first is really around business leads, right? You can reach out to your network to give you leads to have conversations with other people so you can take forward whatever product or services that you have. And this is typically probably one of the most oft uses, of our network. The second one could be around new trends. What's happening in the marketplace? What's happening with respect to a certain technology? And if you think of the last year and a half that we've all spent in COVID, there's been a lot of ambiguity. There's been a lot of uncertainty, right? And we've needed to reach out to people to say, do you think, things are going to continue like this? Should I be changing the focus of my business? Should I be offering, should I be doing salary cutbacks? What do you think is going to be happening outside? So our network can be extremely useful for us to get a better understanding of what is happening in the world around us. Also, use your network to understand best practices. Say, if you as a business are struggling with, say, quality as an issue, right? Reach out to people in your network who are working in organizations or who have done something quite incredible in terms of enhancing the quality or just providing amazing quality products and services. There is a lot of learning that can come from that. And as human beings, we normally like to help each other. So if you reach out to somebody, they'll definitely kind of, reciprocate. The next is really you use your network for connections to get connected to somebody who can probably connect you to somebody else who can connect you to somebody else, right? Very, very important. You would have heard of this concept of 6 degrees of separation. It's real. So, think of people that you want to get into your network where you feel, oh my God, but this person is too far. So one of the experiments that we did was, with Satya Nadella. So, one of the professors at ISB, we asked her the question that, whom do you want as a part of your network? And it needs to serve a business purpose. So she said, I want Satya Nadella as a part of my network. So we asked her the question, why do you want him as a part of your network? So she said, because if I can get him to come and really speak, it enhances the brand value of what we stand for. And on a lighter note, the ISV campus and the Microsoft campus share a common wall in Hyderabad. So we threw it out to the group to say, okay, how can she reach out to Satya Nadella? And it was really interesting to see. There was one lady in the group who said, I know a landlady whom Satya Nadella used to rent a house from in Hyderabad. Somebody else said, I can get you the email ID of Satya Nadella's assistant. So the reason why I'm bringing this into the conversation is, Bhuvna, it's also in response to what you said, you need to identify whom you want as a part of your network. Unless you do that, you cannot go about building your network, or I would say getting value from your network. So identify whom you need, and at max, now I would say it's not even 6 degrees of separation, it's probably 4 degrees of separation. You will be able to reach out to that person. So networks, we use our networks for connections. We also use our networks to build our own confidence.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I ask a question?
Of course, Anuradha.
Yeah, I want to know the difference between business leads and connections.
So business lead, Anuradha, would be that I come to you because I know you have a wide network, say in the area of knowing important business leaders, right? And with specific needs, and you'll actually be able to put forth to me or connect me. I'm using the word connect, and I'll talk about connection separately. You'll be able to connect me to that individual where there is a specific need.
Okay.
Right? Connection is, so I have a dear friend who I would say is incredibly connected to a wide variety of people.
Okay.
Right? So it's like,
it's like a micro and macro thing.
Absolutely. Oh, lovely. Beautifully said, Anuradha.
Right.
One is very pointed, it's micro. The second is macro. You're trying to increase your reach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuradha, for the question.
Pleasure.
Has anyone used their networks to increase their own confidence?
When I can improve my network, I build my business more. So naturally the confidence will increase.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, isn't it true, Anuradha, where say I'm going to a particular organization for business and there is somebody I know in that organization. And just by virtue of saying, hey, you know what? I know Abhirami, that just increases my own confidence when I'm speaking.
Like you're not let alone in a place. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do take a minute to really think.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Of course, please do, Savita.
Yeah. See, actually, where you asked a very pertinent question, and I thought I was going to give it to you as a query itself in the chat box. Many a times, we don't have the confidence. I am one person who hasn't used my network, or I do not know how to use the network for furthering a purpose. So I would like some advice on that. While you are connected to a wide variety of people, I have a small doubt in my head and heart, whether it is being used for my own personal purposes or something like that. Something stops me from, while I'm extremely good at connecting with them for a given purpose and getting things done absolutely well. But if it is a little more than that realm, I hold myself back, thinking that I should not be construed as being, looking at it on a personal front. So I stopped.
I love this, Sabita, and this is just what we were going to speak about next. What prevents us from using our network? As you said, Sabita, if it's something pointed, if it's something, work related, you can absolutely do it, right? What stops you, Sabita?
What stops me is I always think probably it is a personal, it's not necessarily a personal, it is basically an individual, point that I want to take forward. And that is, that I don't think is right.
Why, Sabita? Why, Sabita? Why is it not right?
Probably my own self-inflicted judgmental perspective.
Yeah.
So probably it is my own set of thoughts I have. I really don't know where to pinpoint that, thought into. That's why I need help from you.
So very insightful, Sabita. It is what's happening between these two temples of ours, right? It is our own self-talk. We call it self-talk, Sabita. So it could be, if I ask this person for help, the person might think that I am weak. If I ask this person for help and he says no, that would look so terrible. If I ask this person for help, he might ask me for something and I might not be able to help him. So give me more self-talk, ladies. What else is the self-talk that prevents us from using our network?
Reluctance.
And where does the reluctance come from, Anuradha? What's the mental chatter that's going on in your head?
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Absolutely. The person might say no, might not help me. And therefore, I'm not going to ask. Correct?
Fear of judgment.
Fear of judgment. And what is the judgment that we are fearful of?
Judgment that what would that person feel, think, or imagine about me? I mean, what the impression or the perception about me, my image in his head.
Correct. Absolutely. What is he going
to
think?
So when we are more worried about what people will think, is actually stops us create more network or utilize the network, I feel.
Absolutely, Tripti. What else? Identify
I feel we need to be more carefree.
We need to be more carefree. Thank you, Tripti. Let's get a couple of other voices. Who else might want to share? Lata, what prevents you from using your network?
Yeah, it's the same fear of rejection. If I ask them something, they might reject my offer, or probably they judge me, Correct. So that kind of feeling will always, stop me from, getting, reaching out to people. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And Lata, when people reach out to you, I'm
the first person to help them out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at that. It's so interesting, right? When somebody comes to us for help, we are very eager to help them.
Yes, exactly.
But when we need to ask, we feel so constrained and we tell ourselves so many stories. These are stories. And so what if we are rejected once or twice? It doesn't matter.
There's one more reason. Can I just say?
Of course.
Sometimes what happens, we as others are saying, that fear of rejection and things like that. Let's say I overcome on my side that I don't bother about taking a no and things like that. Yeah. I take one more step ahead. But what happens, sometimes you depend on a person or depend on their words and things like that. Subsequently, they goof up, I mean, they don't live up to the words. So these also makes you move ahead of the accepting no. Despite all that, we still ask someone for something, and then you don't get that. That experience also makes the next obligation or favor to ask someone. It benefits us. That is all.
Absolutely, Sada. You feel let down, right?
Sorry?
You feel let down that I asked, the person said yes, but he or she has not been able to deliver.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And probably we would have committed based on those commitments, and that goes off, or something happens to that and we lose face. All these things makes us think that better if I'm able to do something on my own.
Totally.
That's my experience. I'm not clouding others. I'm just saying.
No, your experience is I think, if I'm to kind of use a bit of a gender brush, women are natural givers. We are not natural takers. We find it very hard. I'm sure even at home, you find it hard to ask for help, right? You will you will manage the house, you're going to be managing work, you're managing the kids, there are other social responsibilities. We don't ask for help, right? And we tell ourselves a lot of things, we justify it. But what that does is it really puts a lot of pressure on us. So if you want to use the power that sits within your network, there are certain mindsets that might help you in that process.
Can I just give you an example?
Of course, please.
Actually, I'll tell you, when you were asking what is your mind chatter that goes on in your head, some years back, almost like about almost 10 years back, when I was in Mumbai, there was this person, because I am very talkative, and I'm an extrovert, and I really connect with people.
Yes.
So based on that, this couple, this husband and wife couple, they just befriended, and then they said it's more of an Amway one. So they thought that I would be taking forward the Amway business and everything. They enrolled me, and I was also very enthusiastic. I liked the product very much, and I thought, okay, I mean, it's a good thing, and let me take it forward, and me and my husband and all those things. But I while I could promote it to one or two or other people, I really couldn't go forward and get it done with the same gusto which they thought I would do. So, and we are very good friends to this day. So at one dining table conversation, I was asking them, listen, I don't think I'm not going to be a great messiah for you guys, but I'll definitely use your products. Then he came back and told me, listen, I'm able to understand you corporate people are very good in getting your things done on your corporate basis, but when it comes to an entrepreneurial framework, I find probably you look at it differently. So I totally agree with you. You don't have to do that, but we will definitely get. So I just thought this is a good point to give you a perspective as to why we are not very good at using the network. I mean, I don't know, but so that mind chatter there actually stops you from reaching out and getting what you want to do.
It is the biggest thing, Sabita, that comes in the way of us using our network. It is the stories that we are telling ourselves. It's the mind chatter. It's really interesting. When we were based in China, I learned how important network is. So in China, they have a formal word for network. It's called guanxi, right? If you come through guanxi, your work will typically get done really quickly, because I'm coming through somebody, and therefore, the person who's recommended me, there is some credibility, right? And I remember initially when we had gone there, I was working, and we were in conversation with a client. We had signed up for a project in terms of, the client was fine with it, but the formal signing had not happened. The client was taking us out for lunch, was taking us to his office, was coming to our office, and I'm trying to wonder, we figured out the solution. Why aren't we getting on with stuff? And then I was told this, we haven't gone through guanxi. So unless the person really knows me and understands me, he or she is not going to sign on the dotted line, because there is an element of trust as well. So it's an element of understanding as well. So, it just kind of goes back a little bit to what Bhuvana said. But Sabita, what you've talked about in terms of what prevents us is what we have to identify what our own individual story is. For some of us, it might be, what is the other person going to think? For some of us, it might be ego. We have to put our ego aside if we want to ask for help, right? So there are lots of different reasons. So identify for yourself what's coming in the way of perhaps you reaching out to certain people that are there in your network, but you haven't reached out to them. And let's look at some of the mindsets that might enable you and help you. So I remember in my early days of consulting, when I heard the word networking, I actually thought it's a bad word. I thought it was opportunistic, right? I thought it was taking advantage. It was transactional. But as I have kind of matured and got a lot of gray hair now, I've understood it's different. You know, it is really about a relationship. So for you to get value from your network, you need to invest time and effort. So it's no good to say, I have 1,000 Facebook followers or 1,000 people on LinkedIn. That's not going to give you any value, right? Because you have to invest time and effort in building your network. There needs to be a spirit of generosity, right? That I want to help. And I think this is something that probably comes very naturally for women. So I'm not even going to spend time on it. But there is that spirit of generosity. So, you know, I will give if I think you need something, even if you don't ask, right? If you ask, I will definitely try and give, or try and connect you to somebody else that who might be able to help you. Empathy, which is I understand you. And, you know, this is a very, very important point from two perspectives. One is, there's some of us, for example, if I'm a part of your network, it could be I'm the kind of person who's very comfortable if you ask me to connect you to other people, either to understand what's happening in the market or to make an introduction to somebody in a particular organization. But I might be very uncomfortable when it comes to you asking me for any kind of financial dealings, right? So it's very important you understand whom you are asking for what, right? And that can only happen when you put yourself into their shoes, because you don't want to make the other person feel uncomfortable. I think also going back to, I think Savita made that point, or I think, no, sorry, Sarada, you made that point to say, sometimes we ask somebody for something, they say yes, but then they let us down. That's probably because we haven't done a good enough job to really understand what they are capable of, right? So before you reach out to something, also understand what they would be ready to give and what they are able to give, both of those elements. The fourth element is really mutuality, that this relationship is valuable to you and it's valuable to me.
Yeah, can I just interrupt you if you don't mind?
Of course, Sabita, you're not interrupting me at all.
You said you need to gauge, you know, what that person is capable of and then reaching out to them in terms of whatever you ask them to do. But then it's not always possible unless and until you try it out. See, in occasions of, you know, these kind of, I mean, it's not a deep relationship that you're going to have with them.
Yeah.
In fact, you know, you get to know them through a forum, and then there is some kind of rapport building that happens. So you go for to reach out. But unless and until you ask, how can you? You can't be getting into too much of a talking, or how do you get that understanding?
So two ways, Sabita. So what you raise is absolutely, you know, valid. One is, don't ask them if, say, it's the first, you know, exchange of energy that's happening. Don't ask them for something that's very important to you, because you don't know if they'd be able to deliver. So the truth is, you know, especially in, you know, networking events, we meet a lot of people. A lot of people say a lot of things, right? But you don't even know if they have the intention to actually, you know, help you. So you need to gauge that out. That's the first thing. Second thing is, can you check with other people who know this person to get a little more information about this person? Just like when we're hiring somebody in an organization, we do a reference check. And the reason that's important is because there might be a point when this person asks you for something and you just want to ensure that it's not a unreasonable ask that they will ever put forward. So those might be two ways that you try and check it out, Sabita. Yeah. And the last is courage. It's important to ask for what you want. Unfortunately, people are not clairvoyant, right? Unless you ask for what you want, you are not going to get value from your network. So that is one big request that I have to all of you. Ask. Maybe sometimes the ask will come through. Sometimes it won't come through. That's all right. It's not a reflection on you if somebody else does not help you. So don't take it hard on yourself if somebody says, hey, I can't help you. That's okay. Go figure out somebody else who can help you. But at least try. Otherwise, don't spend time
I
on
have
the-
some Gayatri.
Can I share something? I use SW theory.
What is SW theory, Trupti?
SW is some will, some won't. So what? Someone
I like that.
waiting.
Lovely. I love that. Some will, some won't, someone is waiting. Absolutely. Doctor,
Yeah,
please
thank
go
you.
ahead. Please go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I just wanted to say that I think we also need to develop a sense of maturity, you know, not to take everything personally,
Yes.
right? So I think so if you're compartmentalized about it and you know that, like Tripti rightly said, you know, some will, some won't, so what? Someone is waiting, right? That maturity, I think, is something that comes with age, comes with experience. And also, it's a good idea to develop it, you know. What is the worst that can happen? They can say no. So, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The women have a habit of taking too much of personal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think
We take it to our heart.
I didn't want to say the gender brush that Gayatri said, but sometimes, you know, it does come
No,
across.
even they do have, but we have more.
Yeah, yeah. We take
And
everything.
since we are more generous,
Yeah.
we feel that, you know, people should listen to us. People should take it the way we are giving it. But one size doesn't fit all. So
it doesn't. Absolutely, Trupti.
And everybody is at, I feel, you know, people are at a different level. Everyone has their own journey. So I think in the network or not in the network, people will only come, connect or work with you if the frequency matches. If the frequency matches, you both work. Similarly, like, you know, it's a law. So I only
have
have
a little hitch that I would like to overcome whenever the conversation is over.
Go ahead, Vandana.
Yeah, hi. I always feel like my identity is connected with a certain place where I am in right now. And if I'm out of that area or campus, I shouldn't be carrying that identity, or I don't easily carry it. In the sense, I'm in my store, I can talk business, I can sell. If it's a specific business networking organization I'm a part of and we are in a meeting, I could talk about my work. Otherwise, I stay tight-lipped even if there is a inquiry regarding my product. I just feel maybe it's again some old stories running in my mind where they say ki ye yahan pe bhi bech rahi hai. She wants to sell everywhere. So that hitch is there. But I feel now these days you are not confined, but I'm not able to get out of that.
And this is an interesting one, Vandana. And, you know, again, you're not alone in feeling like this. One of the things that you could try is, it's not about selling, right? You're doing what you're doing, Vandana. I'm not sure what you're doing, but you're doing what you're doing because it comes from a deep sense of purpose. And where you feel you're giving value to the other person as well.
All right.
Right? So connect into that purpose and speak from that place of purpose rather than from a place of transaction. You know, another way of thinking about it, Vandana, you think of artists, right?
Right.
Artists paint and they'll always leave a signature, whether the painting is good or bad.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And the work that you do is your signature, Vandana. So talk about it, because it's a gift that you're taking to the world. And as long as you know that you are not being opportunistic, right? And, you know, the context is fine for you to actually talk about it, experiment with it. You know, try it once, see how it works. Because as you said, you know, these might be some old stories.
Right.
It might be some deep conditioning also that we have. So you need to kind of push your boundaries and get out of your comfort zone. So experiment with it and see how it lands.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Good takeaway. Thank you.
Lovely.
Ma'am, I just would like to add to it.
Yes, Kalyani.
As a lecturer, I counsel and I teach a lot of kids
Yeah.
in management field. So this is one thing I always tell to my students and whomever I mentor with.
Yeah.
From our childhood, we are used to throwing stones at fruits. Maybe we have the trees at our house, but when we see it on the road in somebody else's house, maybe a guava tree or a mango tree, we are not bothered whether that stone will hit somebody, whether what will people think, what will happen. That's that particular age mentality. We just want to throw the stone at the fruit. If that falls, we have got the victory. Whether we're going to eat the fruit, that's secondary.
Yeah.
But if it falls, that's a victory for us. The same way, when you go with the same approach, when you're going ahead and meeting people, or as a HR, when you're applying for a job, just have that mentality. I have 10 or 20 stones. I'm just throwing stones.
Yeah.
If that hits, I'm getting the fruit. If it doesn't hit, no problem. I've just lost a stone.
Yeah, that's a lovely way of thinking about it, Kalyani. Lovely.
So this is something that I keep motivating people and encouraging them. So that's why I thought, let me just put it across.
Absolutely. Because, you know, as entrepreneurs, you are influencers. You want to influence people. And if you don't speak about why you're doing what you're doing, how will they even know?
Correct.
You have to put yourself on their radar. Thank you, Kalyani. So we've kind of established that, you know, networking is important. We've also tried to kind of understand what comes in the way of us using our network. I wanted to just share another simple frame that you could use to understand your network. And based on that understanding, then just kind of see what are some spaces which are empty in your network that you need to bring. And this is really drawn from the work of Malcolm Gladwell. He talks about the law of the few, which is that success of any kind of social epidemic depends on the involvement of people with a particular and rare set of social skills. And I do believe as entrepreneurs, you're creating an epidemic of getting more and more people to use your products and services. Yeah. And he talks about 3 types of players. So the first is what he calls connectors. So connectors are people who have a wide array of people that they know. So if you get in touch with that person, they will be able to connect you to probably 50 other people or 100 other people. So we have a dear friend. She's a lawyer by profession, but she is connected to, of course, lawyers. She's connected to academicians. She's connected to artists. She's connected to people in politics, to the extent that, you know, she came back from the US after staying there for many years, came back to India. And the next I see, there is a Facebook post where she's in Kabul with the ambassador and his wife. How did she meet them? Just through connections. So she's an incredible person if you want to widen your network. As Anuradha said, if you want to go macro, she's that kind of person. You need somebody like that. Yeah. The second type of person in a network is what's called a maven. A maven is an information specialist. He or she knows about the latest, what is happening. They provide a lot of depth, right? So, you know, someone else I know, I use him as my maven. So if there's something in technology that I need, I reach out to Aseem because I know he will be able to get into the nitty-gritty to the extent I'll have to tell him, stop, I don't want to know anymore. Yeah. The third type is a salesperson. The salesperson is your charismatic person who really will sell for you. So we'll say, you know what? You must buy from Vandana's store because she has amazing stuff in her store. You know, you must reach out to Kalyani because she is such an amazing professor and you need to get her on your panel, right? So that's a salesperson. So what I'd like for you to do is try and identify what kind of role do you play in your network? So are you a connector? Are you a maven? Or are you a salesperson? And I'm just going to walk you through the characteristics of each of these 3. So if you identify with more than with 3 or more statements, you're probably gravitating towards being that kind of person. So the first is really our beautiful connectors, right? The strength of connector is that they know and keep in touch with many people. So if you're the kind of person who knows a lot of people, you like people, so you get a lot of energy from them. You tend to remember people by their names. You enjoy going to parties and meeting new people. So you're always up and ready for that. Or you collect a lot of acquaintances, then you're probably a connector. Yeah. If you're the kind of person who enjoys reading junk mail, which means, there is an email on a certain journal that comes, or there's junk mail and you're reading it, you're looking at what is special and what is new. Before buying something, you'll probably do lots of research, before buying a phone or a laptop or even a vacuum cleaner in the house. Or you study the market, to know what are trends, and you also tell friends about what's new and what's the greatest. Then you are probably a bit of a maven. So mavens want to educate, they don't want to sell. And the third type is really beautiful salespeople. So if you are somebody who can't sit still because you have so much of energy, right? Or you have a really loud laugh, so you're very gregarious in terms of your personality. You kind of probably put your arm around a friend when you're speaking to them. You're good at just walking up and speaking to strangers. Or you like to be the center of attention, then you're a salesperson. Yeah. So if you can probably use the annotate button or even the chat, whatever is simple for you, and tell me which of these three do you perhaps identify with the most? Do you see yourself being a connector? Do you see yourself being a maven? Or do you see yourself being a salesperson? And the reason why I'm also telling you to do this is that will also give you a sense of who's missing in your network. So if you are a great salesperson, you probably don't need many more salespeople. You might need mavens, or you might need connectors. Or if you are a maven in your business, you probably need salespeople who really go and talk up your business. So identify what is your preferred style. Are you the salesperson? Are you the maven? Or are you the connector?
But do you mean that all these three are important? I mean, while we are identifying who I am, and people who are in my network, so I will have to identify that whether they also fit into any of these category or not.
So it's a useful frame to keep, Tripti. And the reason why I say that is that, as we are saying, I go back to that point that as entrepreneurs, you want to take your goods and services wide, right? Depending upon the kind of business that you have, you might feel, say, for example, if you are not a knowledge heavy or a tech heavy business, you probably don't need too many mavens, right? But say you're a B2C kind of business, you need salespeople, you need connectors, because it's a scale business. And if you find that you don't have connectors and you don't have salespeople, and you're in a B2C kind of business, in a retail kind of business, then you are actually limiting your own growth. So it's a very, very useful frame for you to have to say, in my network, who is there? Because our network is there for a purpose, right? You want to derive value from your network. You also want to provide value to the network. It's not just about knowing a lot of people, because I'm talking about it from a business context.
Can I just make a point?
In fact, after reading all these three, I feel I'm all three.
And maybe, Tripti, and as entrepreneurs, I'm not surprised.
Because I'm in the business where I educate people, create awareness. I don't sell anything.
But you're creating awareness is also selling, Tripti.
Correct, but
you're selling an idea.
I'm selling a concept. Yes, I'm selling an idea.
Correct.
So even I felt the same. Like I have part of each column in me. Now I'm from 1, from 2, from 3. Like there is a bit of everything on me.
Absolutely,
because
could be.
What I'd love for you to see, myself.
What I would love for you to see, what is your natural self? See, we all just like the sofa analogy, we mold and we change, right? But there are certain things that come very naturally to us. And there are certain things we've had to acquire because life has required it, business has required it. And as leaders, our ability to flex across all styles becomes important. But also, again, step back. We are talking about a network. Which kind of people do you need in your network so you can benefit from having them?
Right.
Because when you're working in your network, there is time and energy you're spending. So do you want more mavens? Do you need more salespeople, or do you need more connectors? Even if you have the capability to do all three, because you're only one person. And that's why you have it. Yeah.
Salespeople and mavens.
So do you need more salespeople and mavens, Sabita?
Yeah.
Okay. And why is that?
Fantastic.
See, in terms of connectors, there is a position of influential position. If you think you're in, or you can already connect with people of influence, you definitely need mavens and salespeople to take your purpose around, to take your objective around.
Yeah, lovely. So think of it for your own business, right? It's very, very individual. It's very, very individual, but it will tell you whom do you need to really get, or can even put it differently. You have a network. Think of who are the people that you really need to activate in your network.
Yes.
Because it will help take your business forward. Or
so it is more like instead of knowing to which part I belong to, is it not better to know to which part of people I need instead of knowing?
I'd say both, Anuradha, because you also need to know in your business context, what is the role that you play best? Because say if you have a partner and you are a great salesperson, right? Maybe you need a partner who's a great connector. So it was very interesting, when we were having a similar conversation last week, Anuradha, this lady mentioned saying, you know what? I'm a great salesperson. So I can sell anything. But you know what? I don't have a wide range of people. So I need connectors. So I get in a connector in my business who can open a lot of doors for me. Because selling, I can do myself.
I am that person right now.
You're that person, is it?
Right now.
Same here. After listening to you so much about this 3 category, I feel like I fall into this number 3, and I need more of number 1.
Yes. Yes, Tripti. Yeah.
But then tell me, the another question is that how to find out? I mean, how to figure out who fits into that bill, the connector?
You will know.
You will get a sense, Tripti. Absolutely, you'll know. You'll know. So I'm telling you, back to that friend of ours, Shahana. How do I know she's a connector? There are certain characteristics that connectors have. There are certain characteristics that mavens have. There are certain characteristics that salespeople have. So a little bit of homework would need to be done, Tripti, to actually create a network that is meaningful. Because again, you're all very busy people, right? You have limited time. In an ideal world, you like to be able to spend time with anyone and everyone who's in your network. But the truth is you can't do that. You have to prioritize, right? And you have to look at who are those 5, 6, 7, 8, and probably you don't need more than that.
Yes, I agree with you. I have done a lot of decluttering, I'm into a lot of minimalism and essentialism. So I'm looking at quality and not quantity. And, in terms of relationship, in terms of network, everything, I've been decluttering. So it's the other way around. So
that is right.
To, really, narrow down that small subset. So
totally. So we need to move away from a world where we are connected to hundreds and thousands of people. And you might still choose to do that, and that's fine. But if you want to unlock your network, you need to really first identify whom do you need in your network, because I don't think we spend enough time thinking about that. And I'm conscious that we are on time, Abhirami. I know we could probably...
Can
Go
I
ahead.
just make 2 pointers if you don't mind? And these are just suggestions. And I think when you're saying you're uptime, why are men a little more good at networking without having too much of initiation? That is point number one. And second, I'm sure all of us are gender neutral, and you're the most gender neutral person that I can find. But in your slide, in terms of Maven, if you can have a lady figure instead of a male, it will help us to get out of stereotypes. It's
Thank
just
you.
a suggestion.
Thank you, Sabita. I love that. Thank you.
Possible.
I think it's a very good idea. I will change that immediately, Sabita. But to go back to your first,
need reassurances. All of us need reassurances that we are good at it. So when we get to see more of women figures in terms of networking or something, it would give us a silent or an unconscious reaffirmation. That's it.
absolutely, Sabita. But I want to try and respond to your first question, Sabita, which is, men naturally find it much easier to use their network. And I think a lot of it just goes back to the stories that they tell themselves. I've noticed this at my workplace also. Men say if somebody comes to them for a recommendation, they'll very quickly connect them to somebody else. As women, I will think, should I? Shouldn't I? What will that person think? There is a lot of that gitter-pitter that goes on in my head. But men will just introduce.
It also stems from societal judgment, Gayatri.
It does, absolutely.
And Gayatri, can I just say something?
You're always concerned about perception as a woman,
Of course.
You have to position yourself correctly in the eyes of others. And a lot of the times the hitch pitch is also because of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The society.
Social conditioning.
There is a lot of social unconditioning that needs to be done, Anuradha.
Yeah, that is right from the beginning stage. A boy, the child, he is allowed to roam around freely. Very naturally, he connects to a lot of people. And the girl, usually, you have this female restrictions and girl restrictions, things like that. And soon after marriage, like her friends and her world is different.
Yeah.
So it is because of the society and the conditioning of the mind, both go hand in hand.
But if you actually think about it, Anu, women are far better managers of people, than men.
No, and they have a better sense of communication.
There's a lot of echo coming.
Yes. Yeah, can I add one more point here?
Yes, please do, Bhumna.
Yeah, I think, I've read an article where, there's a research about public space and access to women. So I think, men can really go out to the field and then, at any point of time, they can engage in any kind of sporting activity. So sporting is actually a good way of connecting. And, a lot of women are not encouraged to get into sporting. And in fact, public spaces. Can you see two women, in a tea shop or on talking on the road? So these are like, from the childhood, I think men are, encouraged to be more,
more free. They are more free. They are more
and then there are a lot of societal restrictions. And then if one or two people tend to do, and then again, there will be a lot of brickbats, and then you will be like subdued and all that happens. So.
But what I would also like to say, in spite of all of that, I think women have much stronger and wider relationships, whether it's in the family or it's outside. So I think it's just about using that.
Yeah.
Abhirami, I know you wanted to weigh in on something, so over to you.
Yeah, it's like that. For me, I can connect people easily with one another than, connecting for my own self.
Yes.
Then they say it is, other gender behavior. I'm not able to accept it.
Yeah, that's true. So I hope you have some tools with you and some fresh thoughts that you could use as you think of unlocking your own network. I do believe that you all have the capacity to do it. Just become conscious of what is the self-talk that's going through in your head and replace it with self-talk that is positive and that will help you actually unlock your network. And now you have, some tools and frameworks, and you also have each other. So this is such a beautiful network, not only from, I'd say, a business perspective, but to even just work through some of our own judgments and biases and things that hold us back. So talking about it just helps lend us perspective as well. So on that note, Abhirami and Doctor, thank you so much. I'm happy to, stay here, answer any questions, go forward with the discussion. I was just mindful that, others might have plans, but I'm happy to stay on for a bit.
Thank you, Gayatri, for this wonderful session. And yes, we have time for a few quick questions. Any other queries? I think this was a very interactive session, much unlike the other sessions that we have had. So are there any more queries or questions?
This is Bhuvna. Can I ask one question?
Yes, Bhuvna.
Yeah, I think we focused more from a business perspective. Can you give 1 or 2 tips from a personal perspective, network from a personal perspective?
Say more, Bhuvna, when you say personal perspective.
See, all the things which we discussed is more from a business building perspective, right? So network in a friendship kind of just some tips from a personal angle. That's all.
So this came up last week also, Bhuvna. So one of the women said that, you know what, I need to make more friends. I don't know anyone. So I really need to get connected to a connector who can introduce me to more people.
Okay.
Right. So if you feel, Bhuvna, that you want to, meet different types of people, right? Get in touch with a connector, find a connector.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Not at all.
That's good.
Are there any other queries in the chat box? No, I think people have just said thank you, wonderful session, very illuminating, lots of insight and tips. It was an interactive session. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for boosting my confidence. The SW thing really stayed in my mind. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was really neat. Yeah.
Very neat.
So I think if there is nothing else, then I would invite Anu, Ganesh to give the vote of thanks. And Gayatri, thank you so much. It was really nice.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, it will be very customary, to start like it is a great opportunity to present you a vote of thanks, but it is not customary at all, because it is like from my heart that I have to thank you for like what Raji said. It is a very interactive session and very informative. Like it's been ages since I had a notebook with me and I was taking notes.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. I had 2-3 pages full of notes.
Oh my goodness.
How do we connect to you, Gayatri?
We didn't feel like a virtual session. We felt like we were in front of you.
No, yeah, like I am also in the teaching profession. Like only as a teacher, you make only others take notes and you never take notes. So it's the other way around today, and my notebook is full and I'm so happy for that.
Oh.
And like SW is, yes, it is going to be really magnified in the mind, and I mean really and virtually also. It is pleasure listening to you. And it will be very nice, like if you leave any contact details so that personally people want to connect with you and improve the network.
Absolutely. So Abhirami has all my contact details. I'll just put it in the chat as well. I'm good on WhatsApp. I'm not terribly good on the phone, but I'm good on email as well.
Oh, sure. Thank you for this full
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, council members. Thank you, Abhirami, and thank you, participants. We had a lovely evening.
And thank you, Abhirami, and